Hello and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. I'm Thomas and I'm back with an EFC 24/7 video for you today. We're going to update you with all the transfer rumours. I'll give my opinions on it, and as always, we'd love to know yours. And just to get straight into it here, starting off, the main transfer story of the day, Jordan Pickford has been linked with a move to Chelsea in the Express. Frank Lampard apparently is sick of Kepa being completely unreliable in games, who might move to Valencia. And now there's a rumour that Pickford might be top of his list. Also, a goalkeeper from Fiorentina is up there. We asked you on Twitter what you thought of it. Would you sell Jordan Pickford? Would you keep him? At the time of recording, 2,044 people had responded, with 59.8% of you saying yes. So a pretty decent majority of people wanted to sell Jordan Pickford. I'd imagine that's due to his inconsistency. We could probably demand quite a high fee for him. Being an English keeper, he's still quite young. Personally, I wouldn't sell him unless we could get a ridiculous amount of money, because there's not many young keepers around at the moment. And I just think if we wanted a good keeper, we'd have to look at someone like Dean Henderson, who I don't think United would let go particularly easily and would demand a very high fee. So unless we're paying less for Dean Henderson than we're getting for Jordan Pickford, I personally wouldn't sell him. And obviously 40.2% decided to say no. Moving on, next to another transfer rumour, Everton are yet to reach a Sandro agreement. A news outlet at Valladolid has said that striker Sandro Ramirez is yet to extend his loan to the end of the season. Apparently the clubs are in negotiations. UEFA has allowed extensions of loans, such as Jibril Sidibe extending his loan. But so far that's yet to be agreed between the clubs. So at the moment, Sandro Ramirez would be returned to Everton in the next couple of weeks. Personally, I don't think that's brilliant. We don't know what percentage of the wages Valladolid are paying them. I think it's important that the club get this over the line, an agreement for an extension to the end of the season, because Sandro Ramirez, he wouldn't offer us anything, he wouldn't be used in the squad, and I think both clubs are actually looking for a deal to kind of get him to the end of the season. Then he can decide from there and potentially go on to a permanent transfer. But for me, I don't want Sandro back at all. I think he's absolutely useless. We're paying him far too much money, and Valladolid might be paying part of his wages. So we need that. That's important for financial fair play. Obviously, we've already shifted a couple of players this week who are on high wages, such as Schneiderlin going to Nice. So I think it's important we don't take on more wages from Sandro Ramirez. Next up, and I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name, but Szoboszlai, Dominic Szoboszlai, who's a midfielder who plays for Red Bull Salzburg. Apparently interest has been shown in him by Everton, Arsenal and Leicester. And he addressed this. He says he's happy with the interest, but he wants to focus on his daily play, saying he doesn't let it affect his everyday life. His motivation is to keep improving, and that he's continued training throughout quarantine. So we don't know if that one's a starter yet or not. I think he's quite a young midfielder. In terms of central midfielders, we are lacking a lot, so we could offer more strength and depth. Obviously, Davies had quite a disappointing game against Norwich. We don't know if Sigurdsson really fits in at the 4-4-2. Obviously, we offloaded Schneiderlin recently. Gomez is in and out of injuries, but he's in at the moment. Obviously, we know Gabamin is out for a while. So this could be an interesting deal. If he's a young player, they might demand a high fee. Obviously, part of the Red Bull system, so we might be likely to move on to Leipzig. We're not sure yet. But for me, I think we need more strength and depth in midfield, central midfield especially. Whether that's, Sangare from Liga, I believe his name is. We just need more depth in central midfield, and I think that could be an interesting deal. But for me, that's probably not a starter. There's quite general rumours often that Arsenal, Leicester, Everton, Newcastle, West Ham are always linked to similar players, although West Ham obviously are currently in their relegation battle. And just sticking with RB Leipzig just for a moment, Everton have apparently made an inquiry for Patrick Schick to Roma. Obviously, Schick's currently on loan at Leipzig from Roma. This was addressed in our last EFC 24/7 video, I believe. A young striker again, saying that apparently the Everton and Newcastle are interested in the striker. I personally don't believe this is much of a believable rumour. I doubt this will go anywhere. Obviously, we've got Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison in the striker positions at the moment. We've got young Ellis Sims coming up from the academy, which was addressed in a live stream we did not too long ago. I just think it wouldn't be a good move. He'd probably demand quite a high wage, as we saw with other young strikers such as Sandro Ramirez. So I think it's unlikely that we'll actually move for Schick at this moment in time. I think strikers not really a priority, and as we've seen Marcel Brands say, It's not going to be a high spending summer, so the priority is going to have to be positions that we desperately need, such as potentially a right back, and potentially a central midfielder, and maybe a backup centre back if Mina's going to continue to be injured. Another probably quite outlandish rumour. John Stones has been linked with an Everton return, potentially cover at centre back, which I was just mentioning. By the Football Insider have come up with this rumour that since he's fallen out of favour with Manchester City, Pep Guardiola is apparently looking for a major defensive overhaul that Everton might come in for him and try and get him to rejoin the Blues. I think that's quite unlikely. I think he's definitely on a very high wage at Manchester City, which we wouldn't be looking to pay. He'd have to take quite a significant pay cut. We don't know what kind of fee they'd demand for him. So I think so far, I think that's unlikely because obviously we've got Mina, Keane and Holgate, who are kind of our three main centre-backs, with Gibson out on loan, Branthwaite, who we signed from Carlisle in January. So we've got a couple of young centre-backs who we'll be wanting to use as cover. I think a centre-back of John Stones' calibre would have to go straight to the team. And I doubt we're going to sign a player like that since Holgate's been in brilliant form this season. Obviously, when Mina gets back from injury, he'll be a good option, and Keane, because Keane can obviously offer some support from the bench. So I don't think although we do need a centre-back for cover, I doubt we'll be going in for a player quite as high profile as John Stones. And then moving away from transfers and just looking at contracts, just for the end of this video, Everton have offered a professional contract to Sebastian Quirk, who's an 18-year-old who's been playing in the under-23s this season. So far, he's the only scholar to actually have been offered a full-time contract. But it's likely that Tyler Onyango will also be offered a contract before his contract expires at the club. So those are probably going to be the only two scholars that are signing contracts. Plenty of potential. I don't know too much about the youth system, but if you do, let us know in the comments or on Twitter how important you think these lads could be to the future. Just to round off, obviously, a lot of contract news this week. Obviously, I mentioned Schneiderlin had been offloaded, who was on rumoured £120,000 a week. In terms of other players that have left, Cuco Martina and Umar Niasse have left, who are on ridiculously high wages for what they offer to the club. They are leaving at the end of their contracts. Also, Luke Garbett has been released on a free transfer. Obviously, never quite broke into the Everton team and is too old now, really, to make his breakout season, but did play well for Ipswich, so it'll be interesting to see if they go in for him on a free transfer. Leighton Baines has accepted a short-term extension to his contract just to the end of the season, but is yet to agree to a one-year extension. I think that's quite interesting to see whether he will actually sign that, because I feel if he'd been offered a good contract by the club and he wanted to stay, he would have signed it already. We don't know. He's always linked with MLS teams. He has been for the last couple of years, so it'll be interesting to see if he stays next year. I really hope he does, because I think he deserves a better send-off than obviously no fans being in the ground. But if he chooses he doesn't want to stay at the club for another year, he might move on to the MLS. I'm not really too sure. But he's yet to sign his one-year contract extension that Ancelotti's massively in favour of and has been offered to him by the club. Sidibe has had his loan extended to the end of the season, as I mentioned, which is good. We need strength and depth at right back. Obviously, Kenny stays out on loan at Schalke until the end of the Bundesliga season, which has only got a few games left, I believe. But for now, Coleman had a very good game against Liverpool, didn't have too much to do against Norwich. And then obviously Sidibe's back, so those two will be our right backs to the end of the season. And then after that, I'm not sure if we'll activate Sidibe's clause in his contract. I think we could sign him for something like £12.5 million. I think there's better options out there, to be fair. And although he has been decent at times, he's quite an unreliable player. He has his on and off games, which I think we need less of in the squad. So he's staying to the end of the season, but we don't know if he's staying past that. Obviously, we already know that Stecklenburg is staying to the end of the season, but then leaving to Ajax. And then quite a few of the under-23 players have been released. Morgan Feedy, obviously season ticket holder in the Gladys Street, quite disappointing. He got his loan out to Tranmere this season, but then got injured. So disappointing to never see him make his break into the first team. Injuries didn't help him. Probably could have done with a loan earlier, but hope he goes on to do well at maybe a lower league club and maybe work his way back up. Alex Denny, who's a young midfielder, Matty Folds, Manassi Mampala and Corretti Adedoyan, a couple of young players who never really made their break in the first team, never really seemed to be on the fringes, so they've been released now. So obviously in terms of players being released, that's quite a lot of wages off the wage bill. It's going to help with financial fair play. It'll help with finance and transfers, potentially such as Thiago Silva, Soboslai, I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out all our social medias just down below. Let us know what you think about any of these rumours. Do you think we should be going in for Patrick Schick as a striker cover? potentially going in for John Stones again if we can get him at a good fee? And would you sell Jordan Pickford? If so, how much for? And who would you sign to replace him? So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.